Oh boy, oh boy.
OnlyFans has completely ruined an entire generation. Dog, when I tell you, nuclear bombs couldn't even do nearly as much damage as what OnlyFans did to our society. Where I knew OnlyFans was getting bad, when I seen people not even giving life a shot at the age of 18 and going straight to OnlyFans once the clock hit 12. If you thought that Reddit...
I think this guy's a bit younger than me. Because, like, for me, like, I see that, and it's really actually not a shock. Howard Stern had like a countdown timer for when like the Olsen twins were going to turn 18. This isn't anything that's new at all. This is just a new iteration. And by the way, back then, nobody had a problem with it. I mean, some people did, right? But he still did. Yeah, it was gross. It was, right? And that's an adult, right?
TikTok, 4chan, and Twitter did damage. Just wait till you hear all the damage that OnlyFans has done in this
let's
video.
see it.
Now, for the first damage that I think OnlyFans has done to society is that it's normalized a lot of weird behavior. We live in a time where people get their back blown out in front of a camera for thousands of people to see, but it's somehow okay because they make a lot of money. That is not normal, and that is not something that we should normalize / celebrate. Look,
I don't think that you need to normalize or celebrate what somebody else does. I agree with that, but I also don't think that somebody should be prevented from doing it. Like, I don't think that it's a good idea that you can like tell somebody they can't do that as long as they're doing it towards adults and adults are the audience. He's right, it's not normal. No, I don't really think it's normal either, but I don't think it needs to be celebrated. It's not like this is a great thing or anything like that, but you can do it. Sure, you can do it. This should be classified as porn though. OnlyFans is porn. Who thinks it's not porn? What? There's people who think that? He's saying it's more accepted? No, it's not. Like, I was at an appointment for my back, and I asked the doctor there, I was like, do you know what OnlyFans is? Because I was talking about, like, a friend of mine that did it, and, like, the fact that, like, she moved away because of taxes. Why? Well, it made sense in the context of the story. And he's like, no, I don't know what it is. He had no fucking idea. I think that a lot of people have no clue. Yeah, they have no idea. Like, I think that on the internet, it's very easy to think that, like, the whole world is there. But, yeah, he lied, by the way. You think he lied? Well, maybe you're right.
That these OnlyFans girls be having Lambos,
They
numerous
do.
penthouses, a few rollies, and more money than I could ever imagine. But at the same time, they also have zero dignity if they can proudly brag about how their cheeks are getting clapped online for $4.99 a month. Why are we flexing our cheeks getting obliterated online? I just don't think that is just weird to me. Another thing about OnlyFans is that it completely normalized adult films, aka porn. Like, I swear, back then, being an adult film star used to be one of the most frowned upon jobs ever. But OnlyFans has made...
Is that true? I mean, kind of? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm trying to think about it. Now, half the movies have nudity? Yeah, money's money. Yeah, I think money is money, for sure. I think that also, like, is doing sex work really... Like, because you can make a lot of, like, moral decisions about, like, something, but, like, is it, like, logically worse than doing a number of other jobs where you're effectively using your body to do something? I don't know. I don't really think it's that much worse, personally. I don't think so. Like running a casino, right? Like, I would say running or working at a casino is worse than doing sex work. Like, if you want to use, like, a moral argument, I think that it's worse.
It completely acceptable. Like, if somebody told you that they did OnlyFans, you genuinely wouldn't be surprised nowadays. But back then, that would have been...
I don't know. I feel like it's still surprising for a lot of people. I don't know, man. I feel like... See, here's another... This is, like, another example of, like, kind of how the internet philosophy is, like, really kind of been... It's been very normalized. And people think that the way people think on the internet is normal. That's not really true. Like, I see all the time girls that do OnlyFans and then, like, their parents kick them out or they don't want to talk to them anymore constantly. But what ends up happening is, like, this is kind of similar to the Nick Merckx thing, where being negative about sex workers is not good. Like, in terms of, like, advertising and everything like that. Like, being like pro sex worker is like this is the thing that you're supposed to think. So you don't see other people who are saying the opposite because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to lose sponsors. They don't want to be seen as sexist, right? So if you had a completely open dialogue where you were able to listen to and hear what people think about sex workers, the truth is that you'd see a lot of people saying negative stuff about it. But the reality right now is that content creators don't say a lot of bad stuff about it because it's not culturally and financially advantageous, because it gets misconstrued into sexism. But that doesn't mean, just because people aren't speaking doesn't mean that they aren't thinking. I think a lot of people think that it's bad. Wouldn't that be considered normalization? It is, but it's done in a way that's artificial.
One of the most shocking things to ever hear. Another weird behavior that OnlyFans has kind of normalized is spawn camping young women until they turn 18. For example, y'all remember when Danielle Bergoli started an OnlyFans 1 week after she turned 18 and she made $1 million within just 6 hours of it?
I don't think this is anything new. I think this guy's younger. I don't think he remembers how much degenerate, creepy, weird shit like this happened in the 80s and not 80s, I wasn't around, in the 90s and the 2000s. Yeah, there was creepy shit like this constantly. And in my opinion, I think it was worse then. Because the difference is that the people, like back then, mainstream celebrities would sexualize underage girls extremely regularly. Now it happens, and these girls make the money from it, but it's not reinforced.
Releasing, that means that there were some grown adults out there that found Danielle Bergoli attractive as a young girl.
Absolutely.
But they wouldn't necessarily say that. So they chose their next best option, which was to wait for this young girl to turn 18. Now they can see her naked legally. Like, the concept of that being legal is just absolutely strange to me. And
well, how can that not be legal, right? It's creepy and weird, but like, how are you going to make that illegal? It's just like this shit's been happening for a really, really, really long time. And I think the truth is that if you want to look at history, this is the way it's always been. So I don't think this is something new from OnlyFans at all. And I think actually, in fact, this is the best it's ever been. My mom said that, like my mom came from Florida and, genuine Florida cracker family. And they had a saying over there, get them young and raise them up right. And they're talking about wives. Yep.
whoever bought that OnlyFans once she turned 18 needs to be locked up ASAP, no Rocky. Like, I just find that insane because there's no way that the demographic of these people buy.
Personally, no. I know obviously like that's a popular opinion to have. I don't want to put I don't want my tax money going to put somebody in jail for buying something that's legal. Like it's just not a good use of my tax money, I think. I would rather it be spent on like literally anything else except for bombs.
Danielle Bergoli's OnlyFans were like maybe 18, 19, 20, 21. They had to be like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, maybe even some 30-year-olds in there. And we know damn well that a lot of these dudes that bought this OnlyFans didn't just randomly stumble across Danielle Bergoli the day that she turned 18. These dudes most definitely 100%. Found her attractive as a young girl. And they just...
Of course. No fucking shit. Who... fucking duh. Like... Yeah. 100% that's what they thought. Yeah.
Spawn camped their way until she made this OnlyFans. Now they can see her naked legally and go ham on the meat. Like, that's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane. There's also numerous TikTok girls out there who have also made OnlyFans once they turned 18. And they made bans because of these weirdos also. Like, it's one of the weirdest things ever. And this shouldn't be something...
It's not weird. Like, this is literally the least weird thing. This is basic fucking biology. This is the least weird thing that you can have happen. Like, you can say the biology of it is weird. But the fact is that this is what people have been doing for thousands of fucking years.
that's like normal, you know? And as I speak, there's probably some 16-year-old TikTok girl out there that plans to make an OnlyFans once she turns 18. And there's probably tons of creepy old men waiting for that day to happen.
Well, they're probably telling her to do it already. Garen fucking teed that's happening. It's sick. That's why I think that you shouldn't have minors on the internet. By the way, this is another component of my perspective on this. I think that there should be no minors allowed to make social media profiles on any website for any reason other than something like YouTube Kids that disallows all peer-to-peer messaging and all forms of uploading. There should be nobody under the age of consent that's able to go on the internet and make an account, period. There is no business that a 15-year-old girl has making an Instagram.
It's disgusting to even think about, if I'm being real. I think the age of OnlyFans should be at least 21, but obviously that never changed because right now the age to sell adult content is 18 years old, and for OnlyFans to change their—
Well, everybody has, like, every country has a different age of consent. Like, you can argue about, like, what is it, 16, 18, 21, some places like 15, like, it doesn't, like, I think it's Japan used to be like 12 or some shit like that. Yeah, all over the place, they've got different laws on this. The fact is that the problem is that guys are grooming underage girls to do this on the internet. Like, that's a big problem. So fix that problem.
Their age, the whole law would have to change as a whole, and that's never going to change. And since we're talking about weird behavior from OnlyFans, there's a lot of lies that goes on with just the business itself. Like, there's a lot of grown women on there lying about being 18 and 19 years old to sell more subscriptions.
They do this, bro. Like, I've seen this shit. This is so fucking funny to me. Yeah, some girl that's been 19 for 3 years. Yeah, exactly.
Which is just absolutely insane. Even though those are legal ages, I still think it's weird to lie about your age to sell more subs. For example,
well, it's because people are creepy. That's why. They're guys that are into younger girls. Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's bad, but like, yeah, it's weird. Absolutely. Guys, no idea. Yeah, bro. Like, I don't think this guy knows how bad it really is.
Remember that one NPC TikTok girl, Pinky Doll?
Yeah.
Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good.
I remember this.
Gang gang.
So she actually used to lie and say that she was 19 years old to sell more subs, when in reality, she was 27. And this actually happened—
Jesus. That's a big difference. It's 8 years. Oh my God.
A ton on Twitter. You'll see mad girls talking about they're the hottest—
I'm the thickest 18-year-old in all, bro. Like, this shit is so fucking funny. This is fucking hilarious, man. It should be illegal to do that, to lie about your age. Why? Like, unless you're lying about your age and you're actually underage, then it shouldn't really matter.
18-year-old on OnlyFans, whole time they're
false,
47.
It could be false advertisement. You think they should ban girls for false advertisement saying they're teenagers? The truth is that, like, if you really look at it logically, I can't see an argument against that. How are you wrong? That's the thing. It's like, I don't see how you're wrong. It's roleplay? Yeah, but it's not stated as that. Expired product? Oh my God. Selling eggs past the expiration date. You guys are, you guys love to cook, huh? That's really, bro. That's really something, ain't it?
6 kids. Like, it's insane. A girl could legit be 67 years old with the saggiest yitties of all time, but for some reason she's in every Twitter comment section talking about, I'm the hottest 18-year-old on OnlyFans.
No,
yeah, you were the hottest girl 51 years ago. Sharon, hang it up. Like I said, I think it's weird to just straight up lie about your age to sell more subs.
It's weird.
Like, that's just
definitely weird. It's
and
weird.
Even the old ass men out there
it's
that are
100%
buying
weird.
these girls OnlyFans, they're also just as disgusting, if not even more disgusting.
It's worse.
Now, another reason why I think that OnlyFans completely ruined society is because it made the internet even worse for women. Now, y'all are gonna call me a simp and white knight.
Do I agree with this? I can see where he's coming from. I think he's going to be like, because women now have the expectation to create porn. I think that's what he's going to try to say.
For this, but just hear me out before you run to the comment section talking about my forehead is big. Just wait 1 second. Just hear me out. The reason why I say that OnlyFans made the internet even worse for women is because it made dudes comfortable with telling random girls online that they don't even know to make OnlyFans accounts if they find them attractive. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like if a girl...
Yeah, definitely. I think, but like... That's what I thought he was going to say. I think that he's right, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just say what it is that guys that tell girls to do Instagram are the same way. Guys that tell girls to do pool streams or wear certain clothes are the same way. Why is it? Because they want the girl to do this so they can jerk off to it. So whether it's OnlyFans, Instagram, or the pools and hot tubs section, the outcome is the same. Let's be real.
Goes viral and she just happens to be attractive, the first thing that dudes are gonna say is to make an OnlyFans. It's the weirdest thing ever. For example, do y'all remember the Home Depot girl? For y'all that don't know, there's basically this girl. Yeah,
this girl is cute in Home Depot. Yeah, you're right.
Viral on Twitter because she was attractive and she worked at Home Depot, and the first thing that dudes were telling her to do once they saw her was to make an OnlyFans. Like, peep some of these comments. Hear me out. OnlyFans and you equals rich. If you want to make an OnlyFans, real niggas wouldn't judge you. When OF? You're telling me that you...
Yeah, of course. What's the surprise there? Like, yeah, no, duh. Fucking duh, of course, yeah. Like, what do you expect? That's our culture now. Yeah, and also that's weird. Like, and like she even said it was weird too. I remember this.
See an attractive woman online and your first thought is she should make an OnlyFans. Like, I just
that's
find
the first thing. The reason why is because that's what the guy would do. But a lot of guys also are never in the situation that a girl is in. Like, I don't think it's as easy of a decision to get into OnlyFans as some people make it out to be. And I do think that selling, like, you guys know I have a lot of, I've never paid for an OnlyFans, but I've had other types of experiences with things related to OnlyFans or people related to OnlyFans. We all know this. And so I've never really met someone that, like, genuinely likes it, or, like, at least maybe I think maybe I have once or twice. But the majority of the girls that I know that do it find it to be incredibly corrosive. Like, very problematic. They don't like it at all, right? And that's not their dream job. Yeah, this is what they do because they have to do it or because it makes so much money. It's like, for example, remember back in, like, Miss Pandaria Remix where everybody was farming frogs? Well, nobody really enjoyed farming frogs, but it just gave you so many coin upgrades that it was like you'd be stupid not to farm the frogs. And it's like, if you're a girl and you're a 9 out of 10 girl... you'd be stupid not to farm the frogs on OnlyFans. Fuck, they probably look the same.
Insane. And honestly, I salute this woman to the fullest because at the end of the day, she chose her morals over money. She could have made life-changing bands off of OnlyFans, but she just chose to stick with her normal job and just create IG Reels and make YouTube videos. When the whole world was telling her to create an OnlyFans. Like, that is hard to do in a world where OnlyFans girls be having Lambos and just regular...
Nah, OnlyFans girls don't be having Lambos. OnlyFans girls be having Lambos in the same way that Twitch streamers be having McLarens, okay? There's like 10 Twitch streamers that are making that much money. All of these girls on OnlyFans, most of them are not massively popular. Like, I see it all the time. Like, I'll see, because like I'll click on some girl's photo and I'll look at the replies and there's going to be like, you know, 5 or 6 of these girls that are like bottom feeders that are trying to like get noticed by posting porn of themselves. And I look at this girl and she's like posting like hardcore porn and she's getting like basically no likes and no traction at all. And that's the majority. Like, the majority of money that people make on OnlyFans is like nothing. So Link, please caught? Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that's just the way it is, right? And so you have to keep in mind that, like, a lot of the girls that are really popular on OnlyFans are, like, extremely unique or different or, you know, very good at marketing in one way or another. Like, there's a massive survivorship bias where it's like every time, I don't know, Jenna Lynn Meowri makes a post about, you know, being on a private jet, everybody's like, oh, that's what happens to all girls on OnlyFans. No, it's not. The reality is that that's extremely fucking rare. And the majority, that does not happen to them. So it's just important to keep that in mind.
Working women have Toyota Priuses. Like, that is a hard task. And this actually happens to a lot of women that create content. Because if you look at their comment section on like IG Reels or maybe TikTok, or maybe even like if a girl is doing a YouTube Q&A, the first question that a lot of dudes are going to ask is if that girl is going to make it OnlyFans. Like,
that's because most of the guys that watch girl content on the internet are only watching them because they want to fuck the girl. That's the only reason. If the girl wasn't using a camera, he wouldn't be there. That's the bottom line. Everybody knows it. I feel so weird. I feel like the whole world is spinning around me, and I'm the only one that's not spinning sometimes. It's like these obvious common sense truths of the world that are so plain as day, and nobody seems to see them. It's so weird, and sometimes it makes me think I'm crazy. You know, I remind myself, of course, I'm not crazy. It's actually everybody else who's crazy except me. I'm the only one who's not crazy. However, sometimes I do think to myself, I'm like, man, what's going on, right? Of course, the reason why these guys are following pretty girls on Instagram is because they want to beat their meat to them. That's the only reason. There is no other reason than that. So logically, why would they not ask for porn? Because that is the effect that they're looking for. It's clear as day. It's fucking obvious. And by the way, this isn't 100% of the guys. It's only 98%. It's common sense.
Bro, it's crazy because if you do have an OnlyFans nowadays, people are going to tell you to find God. But if you don't have one, people are going to beg you to make one.
To find money,
it's a lose-lose situation. Another reason why I think OnlyFans made the internet even worse for women is because it also completely ruined Linktree / just women having links in their bio. Like, y'all know how on Instagram, people usually will have like a link in their bio and that link will take you to maybe like a YouTube, Twitch, or maybe even like a clothing brand? Well, it's gotten to the point where if a woman has a Linktree in her bio,
you're right. He's right. He's right. He's so right. You know what it is, yeah.
the first assumption that a lot of dudes are gonna make, even myself, is that that girl probably has an OnlyFans. When in reality, that girl could just have like a Twitch link in that link tree, right? But since these OF girls are running so rampant nowadays and you can see them everywhere, every dude is gonna automatically assume that any girl with a link in her bio has an OnlyFans. Like, it's sad to say, but it's true. Another reason why I think
it's funny to see it. Absolutely, they have Twitch and OnlyFans. Yeah, exactly. And also, by the way, the reason why, I bet if you took a sample size of 1,000 streamers and you looked at the ones that had Linktree, I bet there would be a very, very large percentage of them, especially if it was all popular girl streamers. Very, very, very large percentage. Very, very large. Now, would it be 100%? No. But it would be close. I bet it'd be a lot.
OnlyFans ruined society is because it gave people this money over morals mindset. If there's one thing that OnlyFans
That's not true. People always have money over morals mindset, and everybody does. It's just that, like, for example, like, so, and this is the problem with, like, the abstraction of accountability. So, like, I'll give you an example. YouTube is the prime place for predators to take advantage of underage people. It's the largest website, and there's even been, like, numerous cases of, what do you call it? Of YouTube actually like having an adpocalypse because of this. But he's uploading on YouTube. We're all uploading on YouTube. Why are we doing that if we know that YouTube has this problem? And YouTube only solved the problem when there was like massive pressure on them to solve it. It's because everybody actually does have a money over morals like mindset. They all do. And you want to know why? It's because the people who didn't got moved out of the gene pool 8 million years ago. They're gone. Those people are dead. They're done. Their bloodlines are finished. And you're going to always have a few, examples like, 1%. But the truth is that if anybody evaluates their own life and they ask themselves, am I truly living a moral life? I think that almost every single person, if they're truly honest with themselves, will come to the conclusion, no, I am not. I am not living a moral existence in more ways than I am. So I think this is extremely common. And moral by whose standards? I would say, honestly, I'm just going to give you a just straight up typical Western Judeo-Christian standards. That's really what we're talking about. Everybody knows it. He's talking about that. I'm talking about that. We all know what we're talking about. Yes. You're going to the extremes. Morality doesn't have to be perfect. Morality doesn't have to be perfect. You're right. And everybody makes a decision. But I think that to act like the only moral decision a person makes is to work at OnlyFans or do OnlyFans is inaccurate. I think that a lot of people do things that are immoral, and there's a whole spectrum of it. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of immoral things that people do that I do think are bad. And this is really the benchmark that I would use for morality. Is when you die and you go to heaven and you see Jesus, can you justify this to him? And I think that with 99% of things, the answer is no, you cannot. And that's the bottom line.
Taught me, it's that people are almost always going to pick that dollar over their morals on any given day. The other day, I seen this post by Ruby Rose that said, yo bitch got morals, I got millions. Well, excuse me, Miss Ruby Rose, that said, yo bitch.
That's not $1 million. That's like 140K, I think. Yeah, that's not $1 million. That's not $1 million.
Got morals, I got millions. Well, excuse me, Miss Ruby. I never knew that having no morals was a flex. But at the same time, I don't know what I was supposed to expect from somebody that said, sometimes you have to lie about your age when it comes to NFL players.
And that was from 2014?
At 16 years old, she...
What the fuck? And so this is like, it kind of goes back into what I was saying about like how people that go on the internet, like I think these girls get groomed on the internet like this. I think that's what's really happening. Because why is she on Twitter talking to these guys? I bet she's not talking to the guys on YouTube or sorry, on YouTube, on like with a phone. I bet she's talking to them on the internet. And I think this is like another example of like why I don't think minors should be allowed on the internet, period. Like this is what happened, because I bet these girls, like, guaranteed, like if you're a pretty girl before you're 18 and you're posting pictures of yourself, you are, I swear to, I don't even think I can say 99%. I think 100% likely to have guys tell you to make an OnlyFans. 100%. And why does that need to happen? Most adults don't have any business being online as well. Yeah, but doesn't this problem predate the internet? The internet's just a facilitator? It is. But in the same way that, like, you know, before we had cars, we didn't have laws for, like, I don't know, car insurance or seat belts or, you know, speed limits. Well, we didn't need those. But, like, now that we have cars, now we have new rules for the cars. Where, like, yeah, this has always been happening. We shouldn't act like this is some crime against humanity. You're right. This is normal. This is what people have always done. It's bad. However, you do need to adapt to a changing world, right?
She had no morals 10 years ago, and she still has no morals today. It's
Yeah.
insane. Don't get me wrong. Money is a really important thing in life because without money, you can't do a majority of things.
Yeah.
But that money shouldn't matter if you don't have any morals, / if it goes against your morals. Like, not all money is good money. Yeah, that money from OnlyFans might be good.
That's always easy to say to somebody whenever you have money. That's easy to say, oh, well, it matters where you get the money. Go and tell that to somebody under a bridge. Tell that to somebody who's barely getting by. Like, it's. I think this is a very high road argument. It's very easy to say this whenever you're telling somebody else this. Never saw a dollar I didn't like. There's a lot of people that think that. Yeah.
But at the same time, it comes with a greater cost, which is your dignity and future. Like, I swear, people don't even care about their digital footprints anymore. Because, bro, OnlyFans literally leaves a permanent stain on your life. It leaves a mark on your future family. And I'm telling you, once your kids find out that you did OnlyFans back in your heyday, that's going to be a pretty odd topic to even talk about. Y'all remember when that one blonde OnlyFans girl?
Yeah, that happens to a lot of girls for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's right about this, but like they don't care. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like I think that like if somebody is a good mom, the kid might think it's weird or bad or something like that, but he's still gonna love his mom, right? It's not like it's gonna change the way he sees his parent or something like that. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it could be worse. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I think the truth is that if you actually ask the kid, would you rather your parents did this and you had a comfortable life, or you lived in poverty and they didn't do this? I think every single one of them would probably say, I wish they did it. That's the reality. I think it's like 80, 90%. And I think the ones that would not say that out of ignorance, because they don't know what it would be like. They're thinking about it in an abstract. Why would you give the decision to a child? Because I think it goes to show which one they would prefer. Are those the only two options? Yeah, in a lot of cases it is. The middle class in our society is evaporating. It's harder for people to get jobs. Absolutely, yeah. It's getting a lot harder for people to make money and be able to take care of themselves. It's very clear. Have you considered that someone that does OnlyFans would most likely be a shit parent? I don't know. I think it depends, right? I think there's plenty of shit parents. You're missing the main part. The kids will get relentlessly bullied by schoolmates every day, having their mom called names and shit. Well, then just, like, expel the kids that are bullying them. Like, it's not even a question. If the kid's getting bullied, then if you're bullying people in school, you should get kicked out of school. It's not complicated. Yeah, it's that easy. It is. It's not going to work. Of course it does. It absolutely works. What are you talking about? You expect schools to care about kids calling each other names? Yeah, of course. Chat's trying to justify bullying because they don't like OnlyFans? Yeah. Like, you could make this same argument with, like, interracial marriages. Where, like, oh, well, there's an interracial marriage, and the reason why it's bad isn't actually because it's inherently bad. It's because kids at school are racist and they're going to make fun of the kid for having an interracial parent. That's insane. Like, the person is at fault because somebody else is going to attack them for it? That's horrible. It's completely different? No, it's not. How's it different? I think that people hate OnlyFans so much that they don't understand. Like, let me see here. I'll take, bro. So different. Explain how it's different. Go ahead. Explain how it's different. Bullies don't get kicked out of school, Asmon? Of course they do. People get kicked out of school for being bullies all the time. It doesn't happen enough, but it does absolutely happen. And if you're bullying people, absolutely you should get kicked out. One of my previous classmates got kicked out of school. Yeah, it's not even a question. True, not often enough. It should happen more often. It should be. I don't like the idea that you can... Like, nobody should go to school and expect to get bullied. And it's always bad. You should never bully somebody in school. There's literally no argument against this. So if somebody is getting bullied at school, You can bully a kid at school for anything, and you guys know this. Like, we all went to school, probably. Almost all of us here went to public school. Almost every single time that any sort of, what do you call it? Anybody is going to get bullied for something. People will figure out something that's wrong with you. Like, whether it's the way your face looks, your skin, they're going to bully you for being fat, for being ugly, for your hair. They're going to always find something to bully you for. So, like, if the premise is that the person who's getting bullied is at fault, then you can expand that to anybody is at fault for getting bullied for anything. Oh, this is just somebody. See, this is the thing, right? People like this never actually have an argument. Private schools will be different. Kids OnlyFans mom was expelled. I'll read this one real quick. This is a really bad example. So I'm going to explain why it's a bad example. So the reason why is because of the girl's OnlyFans, the girl that did that, the parent, the mom, she was driving onto school grounds with an advertisement on her car for OnlyFans. So she was effectively going into a safe space for children and advertising pornography. That's why she got expelled. She didn't get expelled because she did OnlyFans. Like, that's, and by the way, I completely support that. I forgot about that. Yeah, everybody, this is the problem, right? Is that people use people don't remember. I remember. It's totally different. I don't think the point is bullying is good or justified. I think that the rate of bullying will not match the expulsion of kids. Will suffer from OnlyFans mom. This is something that can still fall outside of school too. The main solutions are to keep minors off the internet, but that's hard to implement. Yeah, I do think there should be no minors on the internet, period. Right? Yeah, exactly. What about freedom of speech? Just outright ban porn? Well, I don't know about that. Bullying is so nuanced, though. Kicking children out of an institution for their behavior at an age where they're impressionable might be singling out others because they fear for themselves. Kids are ruthless. No, I disagree. I think that people will rise to the expectations that you set for them. And if you allow kids to behave like animals, then they will behave like animals. And if you hold them to a higher standard, they will rise and meet that standard. Like, I'm sure all of you guys have been in classes where it's like, you know, you had a bunch of like idiot friends, and then you went to the class where it's like the football coach is the teacher and everybody's like, yes, sir, and no, sir. Absolutely. Like, I've had this happen many times. So like this, yeah, it's the coach, right? The coach is the teacher. Nobody fucks around. So I think this idea that like kids are just going to be like this is completely untrue. Didn't you watch the video where they took the phones away from them? Yeah, they did. Chat's entire argument would fall apart as soon as someone starts bullying them. Yeah, exactly. Because what you think is like an acceptable or a normalized thing to bully somebody for is not what other people will think. And this is, again, I think the problem that people make arguments for like bullying with OnlyFans is that I think the subtext for the kids will get bullied for their parents having OnlyFans. This is maybe a extreme take, but this is what I believe. I think that people want that to happen because they want to have a social consequence for OnlyFans because they think that it's unfair that pretty girls can get paid a ton of money just for being attractive. I think that's the reason. I think they want to create this like consequence or this cost because of, you know, a morality reason, a jealousy reason. For whatever reason, they want to create like a bad outcome because they think that it's unfair. That's I think the bottom line. It's about control. It is. I don't understand how these kids be getting bullied from OnlyFans because how are these kids finding out about it? And then why is that not being addressed? Well, that's, again, like, of course, it's because that society will never accept somebody that contributes with nothing is getting more money than somebody who does. Society will never accept somebody who contributes with nothing is getting more money than somebody who does. Well, if people are giving you money for something, then who's to say what your contribution is? Well, I mean, I think that we can all agree that, like, in a lot of cases, people, like, some of the worst paying jobs are some of the most important jobs. And also, like, who are you to say who's contributing and who's not? If you have people giving you money for something, well, then it's worth that much money. And if you have people giving you more money for it, then it's worth that much money. I think that people have, like, this, like, moral fixation around supply and demand. And supply and demand is not moral. It doesn't go with your ethics. It just simply exists. It's like gravity or like physics. there are this many people that want something, this many people that are putting it out there, and if you sell it, this many people will buy it. Your value judgment of supply and demand doesn't change supply and demand. Sorry, I went off on kind of a tangent there, but that's my perspective for it.
That's going to be a pretty odd topic to even talk about. Y'all remember when that one blonde OnlyFans girl, Elle Brooke, was on Piers Morgan, and she was basically saying how her kids are going to cry in a Ferrari once they figure out that she did OnlyFans?
How would you feel when you want to have kids yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't really want kids right now. But
you will do. How old are you?
25.
Right, so you will do at some stage, probably, right?
Maybe.
When you do, you're going to be proud that you have your little ones and they look at you and go, didn't you want to be a lawyer, Mummy? What happened?
Yeah.
And you go, here, but look at all my stuff.
They can cry in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, that Ferrari is cool and all, it's pretty fast, and I mean, it does look nice, but once your kid gets out that Ferrari and walks through those school doors, it's over for that man. It takes one kid in that school to find out.
Oh, people will 100% figure this out. They will, absolutely. But I think that that's why the demand was considered immoral, so the law was created to hopefully get rid of the supply. So you think that, like, they should make it illegal? So, and this is, I think, the problem that a lot of people like this have. And I want to address this point because I think a lot of people have this. That's why there are laws against it. The demand was considered immoral, so the law is created to hopefully get rid of the supply, right? I don't think that you ever... the problem with this type of thinking is that these people never actually think about this from any perspective other than their own. Because if other people adopted this same mentality that certain things are immoral and therefore we should make them illegal, then video games would probably be illegal. And so would some anime. Many things would be illegal. They tried, exactly, right? And so the big issue that a lot of people like this have is that they never think about what's going to happen whenever the shoe's on the other foot. Look at prohibition, right? For example. So it's easy for you to say, let's make the things that I don't like illegal. But the problem is whenever the person who doesn't like what you like says the same thing. That's the issue. And so, like, basically, you obviously you have to make some things illegal, right? So you have to have a higher frame of reference than, like, a moral judgment, whether something should be illegal or not. There has to be a higher frame of reference. And I think this is the problem that people have. People have tried to make video games illegal? Yeah, and they can't because we have the First Amendment. That's right. And thank God for that. Yeah, that's my point. That's why church and government are separated? Absolutely. Legitimate question. Do you think it's good parenting to commit a crime to provide for your child? Well, it's like, I mean, it's good for the kid. It's bad for society. Right? So, like, yes and no. And also, like, committing a crime and that is, like, that's very different, right? Because, like, you know, for example, stealing. Like, stealing hurts somebody. Stealing directly hurts somebody in a tangible, material way. That's why religion shouldn't be part of the government. Yeah, but, like, I just, again, I think this is... I don't think that people like this. I don't think that they ever see the other side of their perspective and, like, what the outcome of that is. Like, they only think about it like, oh, we're going to make everything that I don't like illegal. I don't know, stealing food for your kid in a grocery store is kind of a gray line. It's not a gray line at all. It's obviously bad, and if you do it, you should go to jail. There's actually no gray area to that in any capacity. And if you followed that line of argumentation, it would immediately fall apart. Like, this is something that sounds good to, like, Twitter socialists, but, like, the moment that this actually negatively affected them, they'd lose their fucking mind. Like, it's not justified in any capacity. Disagree? You're going to disagree until somebody steals something from you whenever they think that they have a justification for it. And then you're going to say, yeah, but that's not a justification to me. And they're going to say, yeah, but we're not thinking about you, I'm thinking about me. Again, nobody ever thinks beyond themselves. Completely self-referential ethics and morals. Terrible to do. Absolutely terrible.
OnlyFans. Now your son is getting his head dunked into a toilet on a Wednesday morning before PE class. You're telling me that it's okay that you get clapped online, pile drive, put in a
yeah, like I'll be totally honest. Like if you're you know, giving kids swirlies, right? It's funny, right, in the movies. But if you do that to a kid, you should be immediately expelled. It's not even a question. Yeah, it's not even a question. Like it not even for a second.
And put in the walls of Jericho.
Some kids deserve it. For the world. I know some kids deserve it, okay? I agree with you. Some kids are fucking obnoxious and they should get bullied. But the problem is that I can't rely on the bullies to use proper discretion. That's the issue. I think there's plenty of kids that it'd be better if they got bullied a little bit growing up. However, you can't rely on them to be able to exercise proper restraint. That's why you can't have it.
To see, but it's somehow fine because you have a Ferrari. That is absolutely insane. If you thought that bullying was bad now, just wait until 20 years from now. These roast sessions are about to get brutal. That's why
it's not going to be that bad, because if the entire generation is like that, then it's not going to be the same type of problem. That's just the way it is. Like if it changes society and everybody is like that, then it's going to be different. It's normalized. Yeah, it's just going to be normalized, so that's not going to happen.
You're ugly and your breath stinks. That's why your mom did OnlyFans. If your mom did OnlyFans, you might as well go mute, because that's the safest option. Like, these OnlyFans pictures are never going to leave the internet. I don't think people realize that. And also, just because you retire from OnlyFans, that doesn't mean that the pictures and videos retire as well. For
you know, bro, he gonna bring up Mia Khalifa?
Example, do y'all remember the ex-adult film star Mia Khalifa? The other
you know, there's some things I disagree with this guy on, right? But other things I don't. Yeah, that's what it was, right? And so, depends how big the creator is. Yeah, definitely. And I think also, like, you're right that, like, if you do OnlyFans, this will always be, like, people will never let you forget that. Like, it's never going to happen. And I think also the reason why Mia Khalifa is different is because she's an obnoxious bitch. That's the real reason. Because, like, for example, Sasha Grey, I watched her play Demon Souls the other day, and it was great. Nobody was being rude to her. Everybody was positive and nice. So there's tons of girls that move past doing porn and they're respected and liked. The reason why nobody likes Mia Khalifa and keeps bringing it up is because she acts like she's a fucking victim whenever she decided to do it as a fucking adult. And then she acts like, oh, well, they made me do that. Get the fuck out of here. You're an adult. What's going on? Adriana Chenek as well? Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, people like her. So that's the reason why people keep bringing it up with her. It's because she acts like she tries to skirt the responsibility of it. She doesn't embrace, yeah, this is what I used to do. And it's so bad that this happened to me. I'm actually a victim. No, you're not. Nobody'd be talking to you in the first place if you didn't do porn in the first place. That's just the truth.
Day, she was actually on Twitter talking about how singer Tyla should stay away from these
I get wanting to cultivate that young audience, but at what cost? Stay away from these little streamers? What a stupid bitch. Oh my god.
Streamers, because CatDany and Tyla recently did a stream with each other, and when I tell you, all hell broke loose in the comment section because people just started dropping pictures.
Bro, I remember this. Bro, I love your rage. He's so good, bro. All he did was he dropped a link to, like, a photo of her, like, sucking a dick or something like this. Bro. That was it. It was over. It was over. That was it.
Clapped from like 8 years ago, dog. And that's what I mean by these pictures never really leave the internet. It doesn't matter when you retire, these pictures are always going to be there.
See, like, but the reason why that happened is because she was trying to play this, like, fucking moral, I'm better than you, Kai's bad, because of what? For what reason? Why? Like, that's the reason why they did that. Like, they wouldn't be bringing that up with her if she acted like a normal person, but she's fucking obnoxious. So, of course, they're going to bring it up. Because, like, oh, well, these people are bad. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, she has OnlyFans. Does that mean she's retired? No, it means she ran out of money from porn.
Dog. That scene probably happened ages ago, but since it's online, that picture is now forever. And
we all know it. Everybody knows it.
Is that when these OnlyFans girls do try to be serious and turn their lives around, no one ever takes them seriously. Like, if an OnlyFans girl tried to transition into different content, like maybe YouTube or like Twitch streaming, it wouldn't work because a lot of people...
I disagree. I actually think that there's a lot of cases of girls that do it and it's no problem. And obviously people will always bring it up. I think that what people don't like is they don't like the disingenuous nature of girls that swap away from doing porn and then they act like it was a mistake or like it wasn't their responsibility to do it. That's what the issue. Like, I mean, a bad take? Well, no, I mean, like, it's not really about, like, I'm just saying, like, this is what I've seen, I've experienced it. Yeah, Shibuya Kao is, yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, that is a good example. There's a lot of examples. And so the problem is, like, whenever you are... Shibuya? Yeah, Susu. Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people... Like, I think Susu is a great example. Yeah, people like them. The issue is whenever you do it, and then you try to morally grandstand over other people. And when you try to morally grandstand over other people, nobody likes it at all. Like, people fucking hate this. So that's why, for example, people will bring up, like, oh, Hassan has a big house. Like, is this really a good argument? I think it's not, but in their mind it is. Nobody wants to be talked down to. Nobody wants to be told what to do. So the first thing that the people are going to do whenever they get told what to do is they're going to say, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Look at you. And by the way, I think that's totally fucking fair. Don't tell me what to do if you're not doing it. Keep it to your fucking self. What about the girls that try and do porn, try to get a regular job? Do you think it's possible for them to return to a regular job again? Yeah, for sure. Porn girls need to take their money and shut the fuck up unless they're not complaining. Yeah. It's like, and that's really the issue. But it's also like, for example, people that, like, here's another parallel. Steak, right? Taking, like, people, like, if XQC ever says anything, or like Aiden or a lot of these other guys on Kick say anything, people will always bring up Kick as a way to, like, be like, oh yeah, by the way, I don't really, like, you're like, what you're saying doesn't apply to me. I'm not going to listen to you because of this. That's what happens. Gamba sponsor, right? And so, but the reason for that isn't really because of the Gamba sponsor. It's just that that's the ammunition that they're using. People just don't like being told what to do. If you want to make people hate you, start telling them what to do. Nobody likes being told what to do. That's just the way it is.
Are only going to see them as that girl that was getting clapped on camera. I mean, it has worked in some instances, but a majority of the time, it's not going to work at all. For example,
because they're obnoxious.
This one OnlyFans girl named Nala who basically stopped doing OnlyFans to pursue religion. And when I tell you, nobody took her seriously. Did she get baptized in semen? Biggest meme of all time. This is delusion at its finest. Your entire internet presence is you not choosing God. And honestly, like,
here's the problem. Is that this is not a problem of her doing it. Because I think that the Bible, like, some of the most, devoted people in the Bible, it's like people that did a million things that were wrong and then they changed their life because of it, right? She can still repent. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, at least about Catholicism, right? Is like, it doesn't matter. All of those things that she did, Jesus still loves her, right? If you want to use the religion argument, he still does, despite all of that. So it's actually not because of the religion. The reason why they're shitting on this girl, I'm going to tell you why. It's because they think that she's inauthentic and she's doing it for attention. That's why they're doing it. It's not because she did OnlyFans. You're Catholic? I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm not religious, but I know about it.
Like, even though it's messed up, these comments are messed up, I can understand why. Because number one, it happened all of a sudden. And number two, she used to get clapped online, and that was her
people, by the way, people love that story. Here's a great example. Speedwagon from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's what it's all about, right? People love that story, but it has to be authentic.
previous internet presence. Like, she went from worshiping the BBC to worshiping the Bible. Like, that's a pretty drastic change.
It is.
So it makes sense to why people don't really take her serious.
Because she's doing it for attention. That's why. People want her to do it. People say find God, and they're fine with her finding God. But they're not okay with her doing that and acting like, you know, it's the authenticity of it. That's the best way to say it. Yeah, helps her forgive herself. Exactly. Yeah, it's for herself.
It just goes to show how much of a stain OnlyFans puts on your life. You can't even convert to religion without people cooking on you and saying that you're doing it for clout or just bringing up your past. Like, it's sad, but at the end of the day, like, I can't really be mad at these people who are cooking on her, you know? All that being said, OnlyFans has done a lot of damage in today's society. And I think that OnlyFans is like the new cigarette of this generation.
It's not like a cigarette because cigarettes kill you. Like, cigarettes killed my mom. That's what happened. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Like, you smoke cigarettes, it's going to fuck your whole life up. It's going to kill you. That's just that's just the way it is. It's bad. It's not like cigarettes at all.
Yeah, because I actually think this is like a really great analogy.
All right.
At first, cigarettes were cool, trendy, and everyone was doing it because, I mean,
he's not talking about, okay, I see what he's saying. So he's not talking about like cigarettes damage. He's talking about like the way people see cigarettes in society.
Was no research
That's
backing up why cigarettes were
that's
bad. Yeah, it was smoke going into your lungs, but somehow in the 1950s and 60s, that was considered healthy. But now, 60 years later, we've realized all the negative effects of smoking from all these studies we've done. And I think the exact same thing is going to happen with OnlyFans. It may seem cool, trendy, and normal now, but 40 years from now, people are going to realize how much damage OnlyFans has done to their lives. I think these OnlyFans girls...
I think that there's a lot of things like that. Like, for example, I think the internet is like that collectively. I think that a lot of things, like, you know, being able to access pornography on the internet is probably like that too. I think it is. And it's like also like it's the question that, like, you know, are you doing people a favor for protecting them from themselves? I think that in almost all cases the answer to that is no. You're not. Coffee, for example, can be harmful. Yeah.
Even possibly go that route that a lot of these adult stars are going right now, where they're unaliving themselves because of their past mistakes, which is actually really sad to even think about. Even though I don't really support girls doing OnlyFans and adult content,
like, I just think that also, like, I think this guy should look at like where the cause and effect comes from, because like these girls aren't killing themselves generally. Like, it's not just because they did OnlyFans, probably it's because of the way that people treat them. So, like, how is it that you can't fault people for saying these, like, mean comments and shitting on somebody, but then it's sad that these girls kill themselves? Like, that's why they're doing it. They're doing that because of the social cost that people like this are creating. You're creating a social cost and then acting sad that people pay the price. That's what happens. So... like, I think there's two perspectives for this. You can say, you know what? You want to do it? That's fine. It's disgusting. And if you kill yourself, that's what happens. Now you're going to go to hell. Or you can say you can do what you want to do and nobody should be able to, like, attack you or hurt you for it. And it's bad if somebody's hostile or rude or mean. But you can't go and be like, people can attack you and use this against you, but it's also a tragedy when you kill yourself as a result of it. You can't have both of these opinions because one leads to the other. That's the way it goes. It's not a tragedy. Like, that's the problem, is like, and I've said this before, right? Is like people on the internet, I'm not saying that he's like this, by the way, but I think that collectively people on the internet are more focused on the optics of an argument rather than the argument itself. So it's bad to say or to go against somebody who's like wanting to kill themselves or something like that, or kills himself. But the truth is that people in a lot of cases encourage the behavior that led to that outcome. So do you really care? No, you don't really give a fuck. But you're afraid to say that, even though you believe it, because of the optics. It's all about looking good. And I'm very tired of it. I really am. I'm very tired of it. I saw that with the Atsu thing, and it was so annoying for me to see. Like, am I supposed to, like, feel sorry? No, you're a rat. That's what happens. I don't care what happens to you. It's the way it is. The virtue signaling on that specific topic, yeah, it's always virtue signaling. Like, so if you're happy and you don't fault the people that are harassing her, then you shouldn't be sad when she kills herself. I know it sounds harsh, but that's the truth. Because you created the environment for it to happen.
Sad to see people unalive themselves for their past mistakes. Like, it's really sad, and that's been happening to a lot of adult stars lately. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video. It'll be right up here on the screen. All that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.
Yeah, I think he brings up some good points, but I think that he also makes too many arguments against, like the problem with, like, a lot of the nuance and, like, the conversations. Like, I'll link you guys the video. I like Cameron's videos a lot. Like, I think that, like, with some of them, I don't think OnlyFans really ruined an entire generation. I think it's actually kind of a really, really small problem that, like, a lot of people that are, like, our age understand, because, like, we're on the internet a lot. But, like, collectively society-based, I really don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think so at all. Always biased. Yeah. And also, like, basically, if you're okay with kids getting bullied and not creating accountability for people that are bullying kids, then I don't want to hear anybody's talk about how sad it is that they're killing themselves. Just say rip bozo. Just be honest. Yeah, we have much bigger problems. OnlyFans, and you're missing the point. What is? You're so mad. You're so mad. What's your point? I'm missing the point. Explain the point. Because you understand it so well. You get ostracized for honesty? You do. The world is full of euphemisms, lies, innuendo, and implications. And the more that liars and disingenuous fake people take over social media and culture, the more that happens. That's the main issue. And before banned? Yeah. It shouldn't get bullied, but it will happen. Yeah, of course it's going to happen. People get bullied for anything. I never said that it won't happen. I said that it shouldn't be acceptable. You're arguing against something I didn't say. Why are you doing that? I never said that. Even if you stop the bullying, the kid won't get any friends, connections, will be ostracized from life. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that for some people might not like him, but you could make that argument. So, like, here, let me make another argument for you. So, couldn't you make this exact same argument for having a mixed race kid? And, like, marrying somebody that's not the same race, and then your kid being ostracized for that? And if you don't think that's the same thing, explain what the difference is. That's different? Okay, then how? That's fine, then how? I'm okay with hearing it. But how? It's not different? It's a shit analogy? No, the reason why you're saying it's a shit analogy is exactly what I criticized. It's because the optics of saying that they're the same thing make you look bad. And it makes the argument that you're making seem immoral. Because you're fundamentally making the same argument. I'm not saying it should or shouldn't be, but people won't stand up for it. Mixed race marriage isn't a detriment to society? Really? Mixed race marriage isn't a detriment to society. I know a lot of people who don't think that. That they don't agree with you. It used to be illegal. And this is the problem. This is the issue. Race isn't a choice. Yeah, but who you marry is. So, this is so sad. It's so sad. What's the problem with it? Ask them. I don't think there's a problem with it. I don't think this at all. I'm saying that other people do. So, like, if the argument is that if you do something that's bad, that other people don't like, it's your fault indirectly, then you can apply this to the same thing. I don't know why people care so much. People care so much. The reason why your argument is invalid because they're racist. Good. What? Oh my God. It doesn't make sense. Yes. None of these arguments actually make sense. That's what, so basically, this is a big problem that a lot of people have, is that the majority of people's argumentation or thinking is completely, like, a good line of thinking and a good line of logic is something that can be applied to other situations and be received in the same way, right? It's like something basically like, it's the same as like a scientific experiment. A good scientific experiment is something that can be replicated and repeated, right? But if the logic that you're using for something can't be applied to other situations, in most cases, that's probably because the logic is bad. And I think that's what's happening here, is that people have this logic with OnlyFans, and then whenever they're asked to apply it to a situation that's similar, that people who are not them have the same values in, have different values in, suddenly now they see why it's wrong. And that's the issue. You're arguing social norms that we've passed, like acting like a complete idiot on a YouTube video and then expecting no repercussions? Okay, so this is a person. This is another challenger. One is a choice with who you love, and color shouldn't... Okay, you're stupid. It's not even worth reading the rest of your comment. You're just stupid. Yep, there it is. Again, like... It's so crazy to me that people can't think to themselves that other people think about things differently. That's what the problem is that so many people just don't have the capacity to have abstract thought. They can't put themselves in the shoes of another person. Other perspectives are interesting? Generally, they're not. You watch these videos just to ban dumb people, I swear? Well, I know this topic is extremely 9/11, Muslim kids or anyone Muslim looking got bullied in school. Should they have just stopped looking Muslim? That's a good question. There it is. Guilt by association. The problem is this generation's weak. In ancient times, the thoughts didn't have much power, only the top tier ones. I'm gonna tell it to you straight, brother. The top tier thoughts still are the only ones with a lot of power. The low tier thoughts still don't have any power. Okay? That's just the way it is. You're excited for any games coming out summer? Yeah, a lot. I'm gonna play one in a little bit. I just figured I'd read some of these because I find this conversation like very interesting, and I think that also a lot of the like I'm gonna be real. Like I don't think OnlyFans is like a great thing to do, but there's a lot of things that aren't like. I'll tell you this: I've done things in my life that are way worse than OnlyFans. Absolutely. Now, I'm not sorry. I'd do it again. It was fun. But it wasn't good. And so, yes. Yeah, I'm talking about ninja looting Memoron's head. I'm talking, yes. Ninja looting Memoron's head. It was a very bad thing that I did, but, you know, I needed to get that mount. It looked really cool. I didn't have it. Been farming it for years. Hey, it had to happen, right? Then why are low-tier thoughts the only ones that we hear these days? The reason why low-tier thoughts are the ones that you hear most days is because most people, they're the ones that are the most accessible. You think about it logically. If you are really stupid and you're saying something stupid, you would expect that other dumb people can be like, oh, wait, I understand that. It's like, this is why everybody's talking about like whether transsexuals are real or not, instead of talking about what the budget is or how much money should be spent on roads. The reason why is because it's easy to, is it a girl or a guy? Well, what do you think? Because it's easy. That's the reason. It's more accessible. Everybody understands that, so they can argue about it and fight about it. Yeah, South Park moment. Yeah, I'm being serious. Talking about concrete argument? Yeah, exactly. Drew, if someone's saying something actually smart and out of the box, how is someone supposed to tell at face value? Yeah, sure. It also riles people up to get votes. Yeah, people are very, they have really strong opinions about it too. You're right about that. Basically, kids will get bullied for a lot of things out of their control. It doesn't mean any of those things are immoral. It's that the bullies are not immoral. The bullies that are immoral for bullying. Yeah, that's true. Men are only pissed off. Yes. So this is what I wanted to say. I'm going to give very, very hot take on OnlyFans. I think that 95% of the people who are talking about the social costs that OnlyFans has want that social cost to exist, and they are invested in continuing that social cost. The reason for that is what I believe to be something that is an organizing principle across all of human psychology, which is the desire for fairness. That's why you have heaven and hell, because heaven and hell provides a external accountability factor for people who in life do bad things but are not punished for it. I think that's why every single religion has something like this. You have reincarnation. You have, like going and like having like, what is it? The Islam, there's like the 72 virgins and like, having a good life in the afterlife. Almost every single religion or organizing principle of like philosophical thought has some degree of, what's the word for it? Like accountability for bad actions, for lack of a more, I don't know, a better sounding way to say it, right? There's some degree of reward for doing virtuous work. And I think that this entire idea is completely fucking fake. I think it's totally fake, and it's a cope that's made up to keep peasants in line so they can justify why the Lord takes all of their potatoes and they're starving. I think that it's been used to control people for thousands of years, and it keeps people fighting against each other rather than seeing the people that are oppressing them. And I think that it also is a massive cope that allows people to keep them in line by allowing them to think that they have some sort of like moral code that guides their actions, when in a lot of cases, they're going to get run over by somebody who doesn't. And I think it's incredibly damaging. And I think that the people who are negative about OnlyFans are doing that because they want that social consequence to exist. They want these girls who do this, who are making $80,000 a month, just because this is some stupid thought that's getting paid six figures almost a month for doing nothing but showing her ass. This isn't fair. So I have to create something to counterbalance this to make it fair. And that's why people harass streamers. That's why they think it's okay for streamers to get harassed. It's because, get like mean comments and stuff like that. And streamers aren't allowed to complain about that. They're not allowed to have an opinion about this. And the reason why is because of that same sense and fixation on fairness and accountability. And I think that if you go back to monkeys, I'm talking about monkeys now, and if you do something that is unfair, a monkey can perceive this unfairness. So think about how deep that is in human psychology. I think that is the way everybody almost thinks. That's the entire reason we have a justice system the way that we do in Western culture. That's the reason why all of our religions are built off of some sort of like, external reward. It's people are looking for a way to order a animal kingdom that we have just somehow, we're too smart to realize that we're just monkeys, and we're trying to figure out reasons why we're not actually just a monkey. So yes, that's what I really fucking think. I think it's a complete fucking cope made by people that can't come to terms with the fact that we're all animals and there isn't any good or evil. There's just what is and is not. And they're desperately trying to cling to some idea that's greater than themselves because they hate the fact that there's nothing else besides that. That's what I fucking think. I'm sorry if this is upsetting, but it's what I believe. I think it's all fake. And people are only trying to create this consequence because it helps them feel better about something that they perceive to be unfair. Agreed to everything else except for there is no good and evil? Well, who says it? Like, you can determine whether there's good or evil. And at the end of the day, if you can enforce it on somebody else, then it is. But it doesn't actually exist, right? It doesn't really exist. You just invented it. So it's fake? Yeah, it's not real. Like, gravity's real. Like, you go outside, you see a tree, the tree's real. Good and evil, that's a fake idea. That's an idea. That's a fake idea. It makes no sense and shows ignorance of actual physics. Oh, so gravity's not real? That's a ban. I'm not even going to read it. Nope, it's ban.